You believe in miracles? We got Fizzle in the house. Fizzle, what's good, man? Fizzle, glad to have you here.
Let's go. This the South Harmon Podcast. Glad you here today. Hit that Patreon link if you here to stay. Dynasty, best ball, that's my favorite way. 40 chess trade show, let's make a trade today or check a AMA. You know Adam at the ATM. Mike always in the building, he gon' stay with him. They gon' start every show off with their own trade. Fantasy's a big ocean, they made their own wave. Make sure you tapping in Tuesdays and Saturdays. Tuesday night, Saturday morning, ain't no better way. Hit that notification bell when the news break. Go subscribe right now, don't get the news late. Destination Devy, that's the team. Dynasty football, man, that's my favorite thing. I remember Biggie said it was all a dream. Now people watching on their phones and computer screens. Welcome to the team. Let's start the show.
Yes, sir. Tuesday night AMA is back. Adam's got the Mike Evans jersey.
Let's get it.
Rocking the new and improved South Harmon,
baby.
Check that out. SouthHarmonFF.com for all the merch. Man, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well.
The blue in the background.
Yeah, man, we're going blue with the South Harmon. You know, we're letting it glow. We got Patty Mills in the building. Patty says, let's go. Of course, as you already heard, we got Fizzle. Fizzle's in the building. Shane Joe. Not sure if I can make it live, but dropping a like for the boys. Whether you make it or not, we appreciate you commenting, liking, being active for us. We got Moose Knuckles, just became a member, not a Savage tier member. Moose, glad to have you here. We got Joey Cheese6. Go ahead.
Let me shout out the members, right? The YouTube members.
Yeah.
Last episode we were on with D-Bro, we had a few that hit 4 months on that episode, right? Toonchi, Jay Jackson, Redwords, big shout out to those guys. 4 months since it's been the thing have been members. Kyle, Zach, Cody, and Moose Knuckles, other members. So if you guys are just wondering why sometimes when you see those little fancy stars or they got the little dumb emojis that we put in there, that's when you're a YouTube member. Those are the guys who are showing us extra support. But just shout out to them. 4 months I thought was like, man, these guys are members for 4 months just because they like putting stupid emojis in there. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Showing some love. We love to see that. Enjoy the emojis. Enjoy being a member. If you are interested, do that. Also, we got 7 goat rings. Well, first of all, hold on. Amy DeLisa, ready to roll tonight, fellas.
What's up, Amy?
7 goat rings. Do you believe in miracles? We on a live again, baby.
Yes.
7 goat rings on the lives. Love to see that.
Go.
I'm used to seeing them on the trade show, but that's not live. This is goat rings live.
I think it's he lost that love and feeling just a little bit, right?
Boom.
He never closed his eyes anymore when the trade kissed his lips, and he was like, I got to get back to it. What's the best way to do? I got to come on live. And he did. And now he's back. Because I saw the 7 goat rings trade from today, and I went, he's back. He's back.
He's
on
back.
top where he belongs.
He's what's his name? In Wedding Crashers. Come on, help me out here.
Vince Vaughn.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
He's back. We got Simon's here. Dynasty Alex, what's good? All right, guys. We got. Don't me forget Mello. All right, y'all are all here. We got people here. Mike,
Listen,
go ahead.
The guy who kicks off the show, right? Kicks off every single show is Fizzle. And Fizzle hit us up on Twitter today, and he asked us a question. We got to answer.
Yeah, I was just going to get to that. Good call.
All right. So Fizzle said he was listening to our episode that we did on Destination Devy about the quarterback hoard. He just wanted to write it so he didn't forget to ask, but when do you stop the hoard? Like after you sold off 1 to 2 of your top 25 quarterbacks and gained a lot of value with picks, or do you draft more? Adam, what's your answer? Do you stop the quarterback hoard?
You only stop. Here's the thing: you only stop the quarterback hoard if a quarterback run happens and it's no longer worth leaning into the quarterback. Right. The general answer is yes. You just always continue the quarterback hoard until they are forced to feel you and trade with you, whether that's right now or later. It's basically
now. let's get to the second part of it.
Okay. Yep.
All right. So you've capitalized, right? You've made people come to the table. They've paid you the price you want, players, picks, etc.
Okay.
Do you go and you try to win now? Like, are you done quarterback hoarding? So you say you're post startup, whatever.
Okay.
They've given you what you want. You got draft picks. You got players.
Let's give a hypothetical just to give context to it. Let's give a hypothetical.
So you ended up getting, like, say 6 quarterbacks. And you moved them, and now you've got a handful of 24 firsts. You've got some nice young receivers on your team. Maybe you got an Olave. Maybe you got a Garrett Wilson out of the deal. You got another running back, plus all the guys that you drafted later on when you weren't drafting quarterbacks because there wasn't any quarterbacks to draft. You've gotten the haul. You've got 5, 6, 24 firsts. What are you doing with that team? Are you just looking to be poopy for the rest of the year? Are you going to start pushing some of those picks in if the time's right? Or are you waiting and seeing how the team shakes out for the first couple weeks?
I think the thing about the quarterback hoard is you have to go into it with the mindset of being flexible to what the league is going to pay you in currency. And the only way you can do that is if you're not committed to rebuilding or winning now. Because the truth is, like, the market dictates that, right? So I guess the reason I say that is in that scenario, Mike, like I'm going to, in best ball especially, but let's use lineup even, like I'm going to play it out for a little while and then see what my team's doing. Now, if I'm rostering 4 or 5 quarterbacks still, you're going to have a hard time probably winning either way, right? Now, if somehow the stars aligned and you started hitting a lot of late players and they're legit, you want to start moving picks in, sure. But typically in a scenario like that, Mike, I'm probably understanding that and being comfortable in at least a year of re-rolling and re-piecing everything, re-puzzling, honestly, to kind of transition it to the thumbnail, right? Fine-tuning my team and being comfortable saying, all right, this team's not ready to go yet, but I can fine-tune and get myself ready in a great position for the 2024 season. And guess what? If any of these picks end up being early, now I'm going to add Caleb Williams and I'm going to add Drake May to it. Y'all can have Marvin Harrison Jr. because I am leaning into this and making you feel the quarterback hoard. To answer the first and second question all in one.
I was going to say when I first saw that on Twitter too, like, when does it stop? And I looked at it. My first answer was like, it never stops, man.
That's the
hustle
thing.
Never stops. It never stops. You give me an opportunity to Kiwi hoard again, I will do it. I will do it in a rookie draft. I will do it in trades if you're going to give me a top quarterback cheap, or you're going to give me any quarterback who's a starter cheap, right? Somebody goes like, give me 2 seconds, you can have Kenny Pickett. See you seconds. Adios. I'll take another quarterback. I'll put him on my roster. When somebody else wants them, I'm getting a first plus.
Yeah. Well, all right. So we got a bunch of things I'm starring here. All right. So, Mike, I think the big thing about that too is like it's kind of like doing this, right? Like content, anything in life, right? Okay. Well, how do you? Part of it is just adapting it and accepting it as actually part of the process you always want to do, not just dipping your toe in the water for a startup, right? Like, if you start to actually apply this, it'll become something that you realize, okay, this is advantageous and something I can edge myself into. I'm always looking to quarterback hoard. Outside of one quarterback, there's not a format I'm looking to not quarterback hoard. If it's one quarterback, don't quarterback hoard, all right? But
maybe in a 10-team superflex, I'm just not as interested in
sure.
hoarding there. Like,
it would come down to I better have 4 of the top 10 or something. Like
more elite guys, right? Like
otherwise you're just wasting
don't really mean the Mac Joneses of the world don't really mean shit. Like in that format, I'm good.
1000%. Wyatt says traded Kupp for Christian Watson. I'm going to answer one question. Then there's another star we got to get to here, Mike. But Wyatt asked the question. Traded Kupp for Christian Watson in a mid to late 24 first. Thoughts? PPR 10 team. Ooh, 10 team. Start 11, retool for a year while Kyler gets healthy. Man, I'm going to be honest, Mike. Cooper Kupp is one of these really tough ones this time of year because he's in this tier for me, obviously lower, but like Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams. Right now they feel devalued in guys I want to typically buy because I think come August, September, they're going to have a very peak in value. But at the same time, like, if you're actually trying to get off of Cooper Kupp, he's an asset. It's like a less extreme version of Kelsey, right? Like, you're probably unlikely to recoup what his value is to you in your lineup. However, when I look at this deal, like, I'm not a Watson guy, if I'm going to be completely honest. I know Debro's giving me reasons to be. In this format, I have a hard time with him. But if you're telling me you get that plus a shot at some other team potentially failing, you could do worse, I think, honestly. And I think this is honestly a pretty decent return for Cooper Kupp. But right now, I have a hard time trading Cooper Kupp this time of year. But given what he's telling me, I don't mind it at all.
Let me ask you this though: Christian Watson or mid first in this year's class, like
in 23.
Yeah, Christian Watson or Quentin Johnson, Christian Watson or Zay Flowers or Jordan Addison. Like, I mean, what's the difference, to be honest?
Probably not a lot. If I want to be
close.
honest, I don't think it's that much. I think the thing is there's more ceiling for a guy like Quentin Johnson or Jordan Addison if they smash early. But Christian Watson's already proven for a year some good things. It's also tied in though. It's part of my Christian Watson tough thing for me is it's tied in with my Jordan Love, not Love either. So
that's fair. But here's the thing, man. I've seen wide receivers produce with god awful shitty quarterbacks, so that stuff really doesn't bother me at all. And it isn't like Romeo Dobbs scares the shit out of me.
No, I don't hate Christian Watson.
Jaden Reed, but he doesn't scare the shit out of me. Essentially, where it breaks down is you trade Kupp for 2 firsts.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it was an actual first, Mike, another first, like if it's 2 firsts for Cooper Kupp, it's a smash.
I would prefer if he was like, I traded Kupp for 224 firsts. I would actually prefer that, but
here's the thing. You could also have an opportunity to move Watson for a first, maybe. Maybe that opportunity presents itself. So I don't mind it at all. I think it's if you're definitely planning to retool, it's a fine trade to make. I think Cooper Kupp in this format could be difference making, but at the same time, if you really need to retool with Kyler out, you don't want to have him. You don't want to have him.
Like how good do you feel about Cooper Kupp? Because it is on the fence for me. I mean, you got 50-50. It could be a fantastic Cooper Kupp WoRP difference maker season, and then you got the 50-50 where it's like Wolf of Wall Street, right? You're going to split your differential and tip the fuck over, and he's absolutely just nothing because Matt Stafford's god awful, or Matt Stafford only plays a handful of games, and it's Stetson and fucking Bennett throwing the football to Cooper Kupp, right? Like, it just doesn't matter. The Rams are horrible. So,
well, can I actually utilize this time? It's not going to be the full breakdown like on Friday, but to shout out the WoRP tool. Let's take a peek at last year, Mike. Now this is 12 team, but it's going to be start 9. So when you start doing the 10 team, start 11, 12 team, start 9, there's a lot of corollaries, I think, here. All right, let's take a look at the WoRP and see where Cooper Kupp is at. Cooper Kupp is, Mike, a positional player 29. And I'll be honest, Matthew Stafford and that team was as bad as it gets last year.
Right. It was.
You can pull it up on mine, by the way. I just went to my team, Raptor 1523, if you want to follow along. I just went to Friends and Family. So that's the league that's
fine. No, what I'm actually pulling up, I mean.
You want to pull up a different league? That's cool, too.
No, I want to go back and WoRP to 2020.
Okay.
With Cooper Kupp. Right?
Okay.
Like, if I'm thinking Matt Stafford doesn't play that much this year, what was Cooper Kupp with fucking Jared Goff, who I don't think is a bad quarterback, but what was Cooper Kupp a few years ago in WoRP?
So that's going to be 3 seasons ago now.
Right.
We can pull it up. I would imagine it's a lot lower.
I imagine you're probably right.
But I mean, and they're running 12 personnel.
I get it.
But if you're, I'll pull it up. I'll give you the number because I know you really want to see it. Actually, you know what's great? I also got a shout out to Koopa. There's a new typing feature.
I got it.
67.
58.
He's 67 in this league. So there you go.
Okay, even worse.
Yep. So depending on the format and the actual scorings and whatever, it could tinker here. But
that's
okay.
That's all I'm saying. Like he has the opportunity to be the Cooper Kupp we've seen for the last couple of years, or in reality, he has the opportunity to be the Cooper Kupp of 2020. Which, in this case, if you're 67 in WoRP, give me Christian Watson and a random first all day. Like, no question about it. Like, I would get out for this immediately.
So
I think it's a good deal.
Let me give you a. If you want to go extreme, I can go extreme too. Let's run it weeks 1 through 9, Mike. You want to get greasy? Let's get greasy. 1 through 9. Let's do it.
I bet he was good.
Mike, in this league, he was only shy in weeks 1 through 9 of Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Travis Kelce, Lamar Jackson, Austin Eckler, Stephon Diggs, end of list. He's a top 10 WoRP guy when he was playing, because the WoRP is also going to account for the game he got hurt. So if we're saying what's the worst case scenario, let me give you the best case scenario. He is a complete league winner.
He is. And
because that team was really bad last year. Like,
is that worth 2 firsts? Yeah, I would say so. But I'm also willing to just cash out right now, especially
for sure.
if
I think it's a good return, honestly, given what he's doing. You're not going to get more than this probably if we're keeping it real, even in the season. That's part of my hesitation is the trading of it now. But when I think about when we roll into September, is a team going to really send you a lot more than this? Probably not, man.
Listen, you talked about it like you got Diggs, you got Tyreek Hill, you got Cooper Kupp, you got Devontae Adams. Like you have these older receivers that people have cast off because of age. And I fully understand it. But there's some of them that their profiles or the way I feel about it just makes you warm and fuzzy because their situation isn't scary, right? Tyreek Hill's situation is not scary. Stephon Diggs' situation is not scary. Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, on the other hand, one of them's got Jimmy G with apparently only one ankle, and the other one's got Matt Stafford with a bad neck, a bad back, a bad elbow, I don't know what else. Like it's not the most warm and fuzzy feeling situation and a bad team. So I don't know, man. I think for me,
I'm also
though,
looking too. The other real quick thing, man, you look at these targets, Mike. Holy hell. 15, 14. He did have a 6. 19, 10, 8, 12, 9. That's the only person that gets targets like that, really, and I don't even know if you could say that he does, is Justin Jefferson. Like, that's outrageous. Tyreek Hill does too. This
is pre-Puka Nacua, though. And
that's
Puka
true.
Is in town.
Puka is in town. Speaking of warm and fuzzy feelings, let's shift from the non-warm and fuzzy to warm and fuzzy. Dynasty Alex, what kind of frame stuff do you have in the background 18? Dynasty Alex, I just got these done. So because you asked the question, I'll go ahead and pull them up. Shout out to Mike. This took a while. Sometimes when you want to do it right, you got to take a while. But let me show you.
This is going to make fantastic radio. So this, the Nick Chubb jersey, I bought him for his birthday. Right? Signed Nick Chubb jersey for the Browns fan. Look at him. Look at how happy he is. Mike Evans jersey and all.
There it is. The Nick Chubb signed jersey he got me, man. With the brownie in there. Let's go.
Whoever framed that did a fantastic job. We got to get him up on the wall. He's got to figure out his space. Maybe the unicorn's got to go. Should we have him, the Kyle Pitts unicorn, or is this the year? Is it bad luck if we take Kyle Pitts down?
Yeah, Kyle Pitts has I got to figure out what I want to do with the setup. Kyle Pitts may have to come down. I really still like the sticker and the Kyle Pitts thing, but, all good things sometimes have to come to an end, Mike. We'll see what we got to do. All right, let's get into... Oh, Fizzle said this question, Mike. I know 12-team is standard. I know 12-team is the standard for leagues most times, but I think 10-team leagues are making a run more and more nowadays, especially with it being kind of hard to keep leagues filled. What do you guys think?
No, I'm good. I mean, maybe.
Let me say this. I would do a 10-team. Like in a home league, like if I know the people, they're my friends, and that's like all we can get. We couldn't get to 12, but I'll be honest, typically I'd rather do a 12 league. I would much rather do 12.
They ain't no friends of mine if they're asking me to do a 10-team league. That's all I know. Like they weren't true friends to begin with. They're like, "Hey, Mike, think about doing this 10-team league. You want to join?" And I'll be like, "We weren't friends at all." Ever.
I was gonna say.
You don't know me.
Let me tell you what it is for me. Y'all are my friends now. Me trying to find 10 of my real friends in real life is hard enough, let alone 12. So that's, I guess, the difference. I guess people don't really like me other than y'all. They keep coming back. So that's the difference for me.
I don't want to do any 10-team leagues. Maybe the fact, though, like Fizzle does bring up a good point. We've had a string of orphans this year.
Right. It's real. It's real talk.
I think it's... The difference is like in the leagues where you plan ahead for the potential of orphans. It hasn't been so bad, but I've seen some ones where like they only make a team, pay for that year, and then you look at the end of the year and they hadn't paid for any future years and they have no picks. It's like, good luck filling this thing. Good luck. It's hard enough sometimes to fill when you give people a year free. It's really hard when the team's god awful and they have to pay for every single year going forward.
I'm skipping around, but I wanted to get to this one because it kind of is more in the earlier conversation. Then we have a bunch of questions on quarterback hoarding. Watson's WoRP won't be based on Love at quarterback, though. Shouldn't that matter? I would disagree, though. like WoRP actually does a lot of times correlate to quarterback play. Now it doesn't have to, but a lot of times the quarterbacks that are higher in WoRP, they have a good quarterback attached. And I'll shout out to Scott Connor and Ray on some stuff to go listen to some podcasts they've done on Destination Devy Radio that talks about metrics that we chase if we're looking for things in receivers. One of the four really that Ray was looking at is how good the quarterback play is. And that really, it elevates the ceiling and also raises the floor. Like, so that's where Love does matter for his WoRP, in my opinion. Now, is it the primary only thing? No, but it definitely matters as far as how high or low he can go, in my opinion.
I think it does cap his ceiling, personally, if your quarterback play is subpar, right? Not a lot of these elite WoRP wide receivers ever come from bad quarterback play. Right?
Correct.
Trying to think of one.
Cooper Kupp last year.
Yeah, but he did that with a healthy Matt Stafford, right? We didn't get to see the who was
the
that?
injury part.
Who was the shitty Wolford? John Wolford. We didn't get to see that.
I was going to say there's more than one. They had somebody else in it. Yeah, Perkins.
They had the Bryce Perkins, right? We didn't get to see that. We didn't get to see.
But Stafford was shitty though. I know he's been elite, but Stafford was shitty, awful.
But he was elite in getting the ball to Cooper Kupp. Right? He was elite.
He targeted him, I guess. Yeah, but I was just going to say, if you just go on quarterback play, though, like Stafford was awful last year, so that's why I bring him up. But I get what your point is. And honestly, the reality here, let me go back to the WoRP from last year, and we can do – I don't think we can do receiver only, but I'll just give you some of the guys, and you can tell me how the quarterback play is. All right, so we'll go top to bottom. Stephon Diggs, Cooper Kupp. Oh, I need to get off of the weeks 1 through 9, which I had up.
Yeah.
All right, so I can tell you number one is going to be Justin Jefferson, so let's just talk about that.
Kirk Cousins, highly efficient.
Yeah, maybe not elite, but pretty good quarterback play for receivers.
Regular season, non-primetime Kirk. Highly efficient.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, Tua.
Tua was very good, despite popular belief.
You missed me with the shit that Tua is not a good quarterback. His efficiency numbers off the charts. His metrics off the charts. The fact that people want to shit on him is because of concussions, which is fair. But
and
it's
that's
not
valid,
that he's
right?
Or because you've seen some YouTube clip or some Twitter clip where he threw a wobbling 50-yard pass. Like, fuck out of here. He's still a good quarterback from all the efficiency metric standpoints. Good quarterback.
All right, so then we got Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, not elite, but Derek Carr was well above average. Yes. So then we got Stephon Diggs, elite quarterback. We have A.J. Brown, elite quarterback last year. CeeDee Lamb, I'm not going to say elite, but bordering elite as far as passing metrics.
You don't like the interceptions for Dak, but Dak has always been a highly efficient, good quarterback.
Okay, Cooper Kupp, we talked about maybe the enigma. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff was actually really good last year.
A very, very good year, yes.
Devontae Smith, again, good quarterback. Jamar Chase, great quarterback. Jalen Waddle had Tua again. Yeah. We're looking at Amari Cooper. Would be actually an enigma. He was, wide receiver 12, so it's not like he was anything outrageous. But point is, and you got Evans and Kirk who had Lawrence and Brady. It's just unlikely for a guy like, I'm trying to think, what's the top one? Brandon Ayuk, I think, is the top one here, Mike, where you say that he had subpar quarterback play.
With bad quarterback play,
and he was WoRP 17 on this team.
And for a lot of that year, he had Jimmy G, right? A lot of that year, he had Jimmy G. As much as I hate Jimmy G, Scott has talked about this from an efficiency metric standpoint. Jimmy G is above average, and he comes in a lot of charts, and you go, "Holy shit, Jimmy G is actually decent." Now, I can't believe those words came out of my mouth. He's a fucking horrible quarterback, in my opinion. But,
jeez,
yes,
we don't know what's going on. Mike's talking about he likes Jimmy G.
No,
all right, let's get the GOAT rings. Well, not to ruin much of the surprise, but what if Lance is your quarterback 4 in a 12-team start 11-2 quarterback league? We holding or moving? Oh,
I'm leveraging.
Yes,
I'm not.
He's a part of the quarterback horde.
Leveraging.
He's a part of the quarterback horde, and I'm not going to sell light, especially in 2 quarterback. I know people don't like to make much of a difference, or they say it's not that big of a deal between Superplex and 2 quarterback, but it is, because you can't get away with, even in a best ball league, having a few weeks where that's not a quarterback. It has to be. There's no other option. It's a quarterback or it's not. And it makes the thirst go up just a touch. So he is, like Mike said, I'm holding until somebody is willing to pay quarterback pricing for Trey Lance. I mean, that's straight up the way it is. J-Dog, great question. And yes, these three, yes, they are part of the bottom part of the quarterback board. So let's say you got two of the elite ones in a startup, or you have two really good ones, cornerstones. Absolutely. I have a team right now. I wouldn't even call it like my traditional quarterback board though, Mike, but it's the same principle. I did it later. Russ is my quarterback 4. Are you kidding? Like, absolutely. In best ball, Russ at my quarterback 4, Rodgers, Kirk at my quarterback 4, 3. 100%.
These are the guys we kind of touched on it, but we didn't touch on it fully. Like, for me, just generically, I mean, league settings are going to be more dependent, but just generically, like quarterbacks, I'm comfortable with a QB hoard, right?
Okay.
Just generically. And this is the bottom of the list, right? Mac Jones, Jared Goff, Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr, Will Levis, and I will throw Jordan Love into that mix too, right? Just because of the sentiments on him. Quarterbacks, I'm not comfortable in a QB hoard having, or I don't count as part of my QB hoard because the value could be all over the place. Geno Smith, Desmond Ridder, Matt Stafford, Ryan Tannehill, Sam Howell, Baker Mayfield, Jimmy G, Hendon Hooker, any of those, Zach Wilson, those types. I'm good. Like, I would say
that the good point that you made, they're not a part of a quarterback hoard because you can't leverage them. Right. But I would say, like, the reason I'm going to roster them, especially in best ball, like the 2 quarterback format we're talking about earlier, is if I do have a quarterback hoard, now they're not going to be a part of the true hoard part, right? But let's say Baker Mayfield now, after I make a couple trades, is my quarterback 4. Cool.
Right.
Cool, right? Yeah. But you're not going to get someone to pay up for Baker Mayfield. So he doesn't – that's the differentiating part between in the quarterback hoard as far as market tradability and viability versus a Baker Mayfield. It's just you'd have to catch somebody napping and off of a Baker Mayfield spike week, which I don't know. I'm wearing the Bucs jersey. I don't know if you guys have seen the stuff in LC. It's the spike weeks ain't coming for Baker, I don't think, guys.
Now you could argue, and I'm sure Koopa is like seething mad like Arthur Fish. You could argue the Geno Smith and maybe the Desmond Ridder thing, but it's just a risk that
Geno I think could count towards a quarterback hoard.
Understandable, but there's just not a risk that I want to take, right? Like, I'm already being risky with the QB hoard. I'm already leveraging. I just don't want to place my chips on that one too, because those feel like bad bets that could fall off.
Let's talk about this now. I also agree, and if you go back and listen to the quarterback hoard episode we did for 4D Chess, strongly suggest doing that. Let's go ahead and use ADP startup data again, Mike, because I think the big thing, we got a couple super chats to get to, by the way. I have seen them. Don't worry, guys. We're gonna get super chats. If you do want your questions answered, prioritize super chats the way to do it. Mike, here's the thing though. It all comes down to cost for me. And that's the way with the hoard it kind of works.
Yes.
Geno Smith, if we start getting like 8th, 9th round, and I already have a hoard going, like that could operate as somebody's little out card in not having to pay up for the hoard. You give me him as my quarterback 6 or something in a decent enough spot, let's go.
Fair.
All the way to the lean in part. But it also, to Mike's point, like, don't take Geno ahead of ADP to stick to the hoard. I think that's a big differentiating thing where you could get stuck with Geno versus it's a smart play. Cost.
I'm taking Geno in the 7th round, or I'm taking Geno in the 6th round.
If you take him in the 6 or higher, you better be Koopa. You better believe. You better believe. Do you believe in miracles? Do you believe in miracles? All right. Simon, appreciate the super chat. Hey, dudes.
This is going to be a long one. I see it's a 6-parter.
I will say the fact that you super chatted makes me – I won't, make fun of the 1 of 6 because if I'm gonna put 6 questions in, I do feel the need to super chat it. No, I appreciate it, though. Kidding around. Hey, dudes. This is one super long, but I have all the info. Talked to y'all last week about Kyler for Pitts, Najee, Flowers, 12-team lineup star 11. I remember this one. We applauded you for it. All right, let's get into all the details. 2 of 6. Today I targeted the 24 first of what I thought was the most foolish GM, and I spent my 24 first to get it. Actually, interesting. I don't know if you heard this, but Scott talked about doing that on his pod, which dropped yesterday.
It is the most disrespectful thing in the entire league to do, right? Like, Adam, like, how
I'll call it alpha. I'll call it alpha. Like,
it is alpha, but how disrespectful is it? Like, if I were to do that to you in a league, right? And most of the time we go in opposite directions. So it's probably not going to happen between us. But in, let's say, the leagues that we're competing, for whatever reason, we both have our first, and I were to go like, Adam, I'll trade my first for your first.
I mean,
doesn't it make you question yourself just a little bit? Like,
I think though the thing is, like, if Mike did that, you and I talk so much stuff, and I'd be like, okay, let's assess this, and I'd be more willing to, like, in a situation like that, maybe make the bet. Like, all right, you want to see? Let me disrespect you right back. I'll hit the accept button. But I think a lot of times what happens is managers either have a lack of foresight or they're just too bullish. They're looking at their team through rose-colored glasses, and the reality is they're like, oh yeah, my team's legit. I don't care. You can have my late first. Not seeing holes, which Simon's trying to get to. Anyway, spent my 24 first to get it. Trade came from another team. It was Pitts plus first for Andrews plus foolish first. I'm 1,000% on this. This is because here's the reality. This is like a little magic trick. It's like a little magic trick, right? We're staying the same tier, but this, now you see me, now you don't. Magic Man. Because it's Pitts and Andrews. I mean, honestly, Mike, I'll probably take Andrews straight up on a team that's ready to go.
Who do you think two out of the two like would help you actually win this year more? Like, is more?
It is far more likely that Andrews, with Lamar having a bag, is the WoRP difference maker. Shout out to the
Todd
WoRP
Monken offense. Like, I think that's. Like
I'm still willing to bet on Pitts, but when we talk
it's
Todd Monken,
it's trademark, right? Every time we talk about
the
Andrews,
Todd Monken led,
right, we have to say the Todd Monken offense. I think it's mandatory at this point.
That almost, I like it, but it also makes me feel like, why are we trying to,
Yeah, I know.
Why are we trying to juice this up? Mark Andrews is the guy. All right. Now for Zay Flowers and Bateman and these guys, I like it.
Yeah.
But I'm just messing around. I'm fucking around. I like it. All right. Let's get to all these parts here because there's still, we have 4 parts to get to. Foolish GM was in my inbox within minutes trying to get his first from me. Best offer was Kyler that he bought from me for his first, Dotson, and Elijah Moore. Quick profit opportunity from Kyler's sale. 4-6. Quarterback, Kyler, Cousins, Stroud, Pierce, James Cook, Brian Robinson. Khalil Herbert. Wide receivers are Waddle, Olave, Sky, Tim Patrick, Marvin Jones, Mechie, Tank Dell, Mayer, Woods, Taysom Hill, thirds in 24. Contenders, 25 first. His own 25 second. Okay, this is his team. My team. A-Rich, Pickett, Mack, Najee Harris, Rojo. You can leave Rojo off all future ones for the record. Addison, Flowers, Deontay, Bateman, Shaheed, Andrews, Freiermuth. Okay. Last part. Let's get to the actual question. Do I trade Kyler with his 25 first plus Dotson plus Moore, or keep his pick for ransom? I'll be honest with you here. Well, hold on. I have his 25 first too. Now that I don't have my own first, how and when should I spend my 624s? First and foremost, Simon, let me start with this part. I got your 24 and 25 first. I said, and you told me, I took those because you're foolish, and I think you should not have let it go these first. The minute that people start coming back into your inbox saying I want my first back, the price of the brick went up.
Yes.
The price of the brick went up. I don't know what the format was if you said it. If it's not best ball, like Elijah Moore, Mike and I love the guy. He's a Brown now, but it's not that he makes much of a difference. But I still like Dotson plenty in either format. I'm not adding at all in a 24 first for Kyler in the scenario we're talking about here, where he wants to go get his 101 share and you have him and his leverage. You watch. I'm telling you, there are certain things in Dynasty that are hard to explain until you start implementing it. When someone wants their pick back and you own it, you will find out how bad they want it back if you strong arm it. Man.
I don't think his team is that bad, but
it's not ready yet, though.
I don't know the landscape of the league, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know the whole landscape of the league, but I'm with you. If you're in my inbox already and you're like, I'll give you Kyler, but I want my first, blah 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 blah, and this, it's like, then you don't really want your first.
Wait, you want your first? You want your first?
You come to me and you make me make the bet on Kyler, where it's like, do I give up the possibility of a Caleb Williams, a Drake May, a Marvin Harrison Jr., whatever, or do I want Kyler? And I try to project that out as far as I can, right? And I'm trying to do that. You don't come to me and ask for your first plus some pieces. Like, get out. See you later. So the answer I would have is, if this happened to me, I look at him and I counter back and I really think about it. Now, it doesn't really mean you should do it or should not do it. We could have that debate at another time. But it's like, you're first for Kyler right now. We do it or we don't. And if we don't, then piss out of here. I'll see you in a few weeks when you want to try again. And then I'll see you in a couple months when you want to try again. If you're already this panicked, I know you're going to be back.
I'll be honest, man. Because it's okay, Mike, let me explain this. Kyler, I think, is very devalued, right?
Yes.
But I like Kyler plenty still, relative to, especially in the market we're dealing with. Like,
right.
But I also think, like, the principle here is, like, holding their feet to the fire and showing them, almost establishing the alpha. No, I have your pick. If you want your pick back, like, it's gonna hurt, right? Like, it's gonna hurt you. If it was a different quarterback that has better market value right now, I 100% agree. I think the thing is, for me, like, I would take the pick 1 for Kyler, but I'd start with, like, okay, you have pluses on the wrong side. It's your first for Kyler and something like a Dotson level, just to let it be known, and then maybe take the pick 1 for Kyler. But I also will shout out another thing that Koopa has put into our WoRP. If you're a WoRP subscriber, we have a league simulator. Now, if you want to, really hold his feet to the fire, go to the league simulator and show him how foolish he is and how bad his team is.
Right.
And say, okay, you want this early 24 first? Price of the brick went up. Here's another tool that shows you I'm not selling light. So
it shows that you only win 3-4 games out of 100 simulations.
We ran 100 simulations, and you're
last every time.
You're last, and maybe, if it's a good case scenario for you this year in a random simulation, you're second. So we're talking a top 2 pick.
Yeah. How about when to push his picks in? He doesn't have his own first. When should he spend his 624 first?
Can I ask him a question?
Right now.
I think I'm good. I'm gonna imagine this is a lineup league, right? He didn't.
12 team start 11 lineup. There you go.
Okay, boom. All right, so 12 team in lineup especially. And what was his quarterbacks? I'm trying to remember. He's got Kyler.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, A-Rich, Pickett, Mac. Like, your team's probably not going to be ready to win as currently established. So what I would like to do, and I'll tell you the answer for me in the lineup league especially, is let a few weeks play out, right? Don't start moving them yet, because right now to you they may be the most valuable piece. But let's say we get 4, 5, 6 weeks into the season, and some of these other players are firing for you. You actually look decent. Let's say one of these quarterbacks that you're not expecting. Let's say like Pickett's actually looking like a top 15 quarterback, like a Daniel Jones type season going on maybe. This is hypothetical. I have no idea, but this is just to paint a picture. And then A-Rich takes the starting reins, or actually starting to play well, points per game. All of a sudden now maybe this team is surprising, and you have these picks. Now you have a situation where leverage is even more so to the play, where maybe it's not even just the one team that wants their pick back. Many of them are coming to you. That's when I'll say, okay, I'll start pushing picks in. I'll figure out how to assemble my team to win. But I would say it would not come until, Mike, like week 6 minimum, maybe week 8?
I would say for me, what I'm doing right now is I'm taking Pickett or Mac, whoever the hell I want. I'm seeing which 2 of those 24 first. I run that league simulator, and I find out who's the worst, worst as far as being the latest 24 first. And I'm taking 2 of them. I'm pairing them with Pickett or Mac, and I'm going around to every single manager who's got an elite quarterback, like one in the top 9. Let's say Deshaun Watson's my cutoff. Okay. And I'm going to every single one of them, and I'm going, well, these 2 first and Pickett or Mac. Will that give me one of these guys?
I was going to say
get one more quarterback in right now, and that's what I'm doing right now. And if I can't get it done, then I'm with you. I'm not in a rush. It doesn't really matter.
There's all that's the asterisk or the caveat is if you can push picks in to get to. I'm talking in lineup start 11, Mike. We're talking. Not Kyler, and I like Kyler as a buy, but I'm talking
I really don't want to do it for Dak or Tua.
No, I'm talking, let's say, the top 7 quarterbacks, really, top 8 quarterbacks.
I
that
put
range.
Watson in there for me, and he's got Elijah Moore, so it's like I can talk myself into the stack. Maybe in a start 11, I can start both of them.
So if there's an exception in not a top 8 quarterback in perceived value, but you believe in Watson, whatever, a similar type thing, fine. But it's got to be top 10 and better quarterbacks that have market value, that have positional advantage in this format that mean a lot. Otherwise, I'd rather hold the picks and what they could be. I outside of this scenario, buying the top 7-8 quarterback, I'm holding.
I'm with you.
All right, let's get into another super chat here.
That was a big long one.
That was a good one.
That was the first ever 6-part super chat.
We earned that super chat. So no, I'm just kidding, man. Appreciate you with the super chat. All right. One of two. We got a multiple part super chats. I like this. This is the new thing. 1 out of 2. 1 quarterback 10 team. Straight PPR. Burrow, ETN. Start date. Got it. I'm reading that like straight.
I get you.
But Burrow, ETN, Akers, Chase, Olave. I like how he put Akers appropriate, up there early in these.
Shut up.
Chase, Olave, London, Andrews, JSN. Yesterday I was offered Addison, Walker, and a future second for Olave. No.
See, get out of my DMs.
Hard pass in the format of 10-team starting 8. Okay. Is something I should consider or keep Olave?
33,000 feet up. Holy shit.
Oh, where are you?
Sorry, I was reading ahead.
No, where are you?
Mike, he's on an airplane, obviously.
I was going to say, but where's he headed?
They're in a city.
Where's he headed?
A city.
There's no mountain up there, right? No. Where,
he ain't calling us. He ain't tapping in for the top of Mount Everest.
No, I'm saying, what I'm saying is where you headed? Where are you headed? I want to know. I'm stuck in a basement talking to Mike. Where are you? Come on. Where are we headed?
The world's biggest skyscraper you've never heard of.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm asking.
Not,
where is the mountain?
I'm not taking that.
No.
In that format, I'm not taking that for a lot.
Format's everything in that league. So if we're talking lineup start 13, okay, fine. You want to talk 10 team? Already arrow towards Olave. You want to talk start 8? Arrow gigantically screaming at Olave.
It's a future second in a 1 QB league. Pass.
Forget that. Forget that. Well, I was just thinking for like Addison and Walker, honestly, like just for the two of them. Forget the second, but pass. The other thing that's a good point too about 1 quarterback is the seconds are very devalued for me as far as what I'm going to trade for, and ultimately picks in general become devalued because there's not this crazy upside of the elite quarterback early in the ranges. So
yes.
Outside of like the very early picks in 1 quarterback, they're all just typically devalued. I'd rather have players more so. Totally different than Superflex.
I love it, man. Tuning in from 30. That's the first ever guy that's been on an airplane that's tuned in the AMA.
Hey, he had to buy the Wi-Fi, buy the Wi-Fi package and then drop the super chat.
And then drop, that's
Darth Dookie.
Right
I'm imagining he's having something up there, some kind of cocktail, beer, or something.
Maybe 2.
There you go. Daniel Walker, you guys rock. Keep it up. Hey, appreciate it, man. Happy to do it. Honestly, we love doing this. So you rock for tuning in and also for super chatting.
Night of the week.
Dude,
favorite night of the week.
Mike, I had a long day, and it's funny how like work was awful. I had so much stuff to do. It was just running around like crazy.
Right.
And I'm just on the way home like, man, I can't wait to come home. I get to see my daughter for a little bit, get away from work, and then I get to kick it here. Life ain't so bad all of a sudden. We're all good.
Some guys at my work, they go home and are not home, but they leave work and they go to the bar, and that's their relaxation, right? To get to kick it with the guys and the originals. This is my bar right here.
I was going to say, this is the bar. If y'all want to drink out of the South Harmon glass, we got
We even get some music at the beginning. We get some music at the end. It's awesome, right? You get the vibe.
I love AMA Tuesday, Sunday, whatever day we do it. Always having a blast. All right, so let's get into some other questions, which were not super chatted. All right, here we go. Let's bring it in, man. Koopa, I just want you to understand this real quick before we get to the question, all right? You're an affiliated member. You currently now, like your view is being looked at by everybody, and it's a reflection of us. So before I read this, I just want to make sure that moving forward, you're careful in representing the brand, the shit brand. Although it is shit, we still have a brand to represent, all right?
I will never tell somebody underneath our brand how to think.
Absolutely not.
I would just say this, though. Because you're under my brand, I will scrutinize the living shit out of you for all your Geno Smith takes because he's fucking horrible.
Well, in fairness, though, Mike does that. In fairness, Mike does that to someone who's not under the brand. He does that to someone that pays him. I mean, he scrutinizes the living piss out of the top-tier members in the Savage. It's honestly humiliating at times. He just completely...
Come on.
Come on, man. You got to let me lean into it. Geno is good for being your quarterback 4 or 5. That promotes into quarterback 3 when you trade away someone else. I agree. That was the point Cooper, I agree with you there. Where if you, and I think it all depends on the cost of him, where you're getting him in a startup or what you're acquiring him for. Let's say instead quarterback cord. So all right, Cooper. Gino worried me at first, so I had to put that out there. But actually, you know what? I agree with you. Damn it.
Right. He starts with the Gino on the question.
I was ready to
comment.
I was ready to just read
Next.
something I didn't want to see. Just playing, Cooper. You know we love you. Young XPR, 12-team Superflex start 9, no tight end premium. I had Mandrews, traded Hawkinson for a 24 first. Yeah. No tight end premium? I think so.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
I'll be honest, it's tough because Hawk's market, this is another Koopa guy. This is another big Koopa guy, right? TJ Hawkinson. Okay, no tight end premium. There's still a level of positional advantage, right? But relative to the skill players, you don't want to probably be flexing Hawkinson week in and week out. Not that you couldn't, but you don't want to do that. Now, here's the thing, though. If the bet of you believe Hawkinson the back half of the year pays off, if that's what he becomes, you'll have sold light. You'll feel like that. But at the same time in the process play, I'd rather get Hawkinson. I'd rather get something out of my tight end room and into other players and into other assets than hold multiple tight ends in a non-tight end premium. So I think that's why I say the pick.
Because you're not putting him in the flex ever and feeling good about it.
I mean, you could do it, but in start 9, you're like, oh, I got to have something better, right? You just don't want to do it.
Yeah. Right. Get you back into roster construction like Scott was talking about. This is one of the things in lineup leagues I've run into a lot, and Scott talked about it on Destination Dynasty on Monday.
I had a hard look at myself on the tight end room. It was bad.
I know, and I've been feeling it before he even talked about it, where I'm going, geez, I feel like I got a shit ton of tight ends, and now I feel like I'm backed in a corner because they all have value, right? Even the ones he's talking about is yeah, I get you. Those are guys that you could just obviously cut, but it's
Corey.
what do you do with all the Cade Ottens that you got? I'm not cutting a Cade Otton, right? But I feel like I'm backed into a corner unless you can trade this guy away. So we're going to have to do some evaluating, man. Scott dropping the hard facts on Monday.
I've done some.
Best ball, completely different story.
Sure.
I don't give a shit. I'll roster all the tight ends in the world.
Well, especially in the leagues we play in where it's roster 35. Yeah, I'll carry 7 of them. Sure, whatever.
Yeah, give me.
But there's tight end premium. There's tight end premium. There's 2 tight ends. It's different than here. I like what you did.
Yeah, I'm okay with this. It feels a little light, but I also understand the position you're in. Not a lot of people come to you with big giant offers for tight ends, especially ones that aren't super elite. So.
Yep. All right. Mr. Wonderful says, "What's up, everybody?
What up?
What up? All right. Whoa. I don't know what I did, but my thing does not like me. All right. Leeson button 1. I am doing my first best ball draft. Oh, you're in the place. You're in the right place. What 1 or 2 tips do you have that are the biggest differences from lineup to best ball startup draft? I'll give my 2, and Mike, you can give if they're the same or not.
Don't steal it.
All right, Mike. I'll let you have it, Mike. Go ahead, buddy.
No. Go ahead.
So the main thing, we talked about the trade earlier, if you were watching, where it was Jordan Addison and Kenneth Walker versus Chris Olave, and then there's a second involved. Now, if this is Superflex especially, the package is typically something I'd want to lean towards in best ball, where in lineup, especially in the shallow formats, this is in generalities right now, okay? I'm using just an example that's most recent top of mind. You'd rather have the 3-for-1 if they're the appropriate assets. Don't take trash. Don't take your down tier from one elite player to a mid and pick up 2 trash pieces on top, right? That's what you don't want to do. But if you can stay within the top 12 to 10 rounds of startup pick values players-wise or actual picks, liquidity, and you're getting a 3-for-1, there's going to be times where Mike and I have player affinity that we have a hard time doing it, but in a process play, if you're taking the package more often than not, that play is going to work out for you. And the one caveat to that will be if you do pay up, it should be at the quarterback position.
Man, I hate it. You just killed everything. Yeah. I still want to pay up for quarterback in best ball. If it's a super flex league, I'm still doing that. I'm still paying my second, my third, my fourth, whatever.
For sure. Yep.
To get somebody's first and another pick within the top 12 rounds. I will say that'll be the second that Adam didn't cover on. A lot of players in those top 12 rounds are guys that are going to be pretty damn meaningful to your team. And I want as many picks as I can possibly get in those top 12 rounds.
Correct.
Even if it is a bunch of 9ths, a bunch of 10ths, a bunch of 11ths. Don't care. In best ball, that's what I want because first what Adam was talking about, it's a lot about depth. It's a lot about having a lot of options to throw at it and avoid zeros. Like avoid those guys that are bad choices. If you go listen to Scott, Adam and myself, we did the roster construction series on Best Ball and Destination Devy.
Great one.
Big thing. Avoiding zeros is probably one of the biggest things. Now, if you have a roster that's extremely deep, like 35, 40-man rosters, you can afford to have 4 or 5 zeros. Like those kind of like we were talking about earlier, tight ends, right? The Charlie Kohler types, where this dude probably doesn't do shit, but I like his profile. Like it's okay if he sits on my team as a developmental guy for a while. If I'm in a roster 25, a roster 30, every single one of those spots is vitally important, and I want to avoid zeros at all costs. I'm not rostering a ton of backup quarterbacks. I'm not rostering what Scott calls in lineup any running back on a 53, like the Britton Browns of the world, the Tyrion Davis Prices, like these kind of guys who have almost no shot at scoring points. Those dudes I'm not interested in at all. I want people who are going to score points. And generally that becomes a lot later where you're just shooting your shots on wide receivers because even a wide receiver 4 on a good offense will have 2-3 spike weeks or 2-3 above average weeks where they get 2 touchdowns or something crazy like that.
Yeah, for sure. Good point. Way to wrap it up. Like, see, sometimes we can work in unison. We don't have to fight each other all the time, although it feels better to fight each other at times.
Goat Ring's out here signing up for the WoRP.
Well, yeah, I'm out here messing it up too. Listen, we got to talk about this. We're going to get to plenty of other questions here, but we got to talk about Goat Ring subbing to the WoRP, and we've got to talk about Steven asking the correct question. Love these dudes. First live stream. Great work every week, fellas. First of all, we appreciate it, man. Sincerely. Need to get me that badass shithead whiskey glass. How can I get one? All right. So,
website, baby. And Friday we'll be talking about it. Yeah,
I was going to say, you don't have to wait till Friday to get one. But Friday, we're going to do a full deep dive with Koopa. Shout out to Koopa. Member of the squad now. He will be on the live stream with us. We're going to walk through the website, how to navigate it, all the different things that we offer, the merch, the store, everything. Obviously, a big, heavy focus is going to be on the WoRP tool, the League Simulator, and we're going to have Koopa talk through how to use it, where you're going to click, what buttons are the best way to make this thing work, and then ultimately, once you get the data that we provide in the WoRP tool, how are we going to make this applicable for our team? We're going to do this for a full thing. But for the whiskey glass, which we'll cover probably in the first part of the video, you just go to the South Harmon website, make sure you click on the left-hand side, go to the store. The South Harmon whiskey glass, actually right now, also I just did this where it's free shipping. So the price you see is the price you pay. Shipping is included anywhere in the U.S. If you're outside the U.S. and try to order it, the order either won't go through. We'll have to hit you up and tell you it's what the international shipping is. But anyone in the U.S., you can go get it. Free shipping on that item right now. That's how you do that. Goat Ring signed up for the WoRP. Love to see it, man. The WoRP, I'll be honest,
analytic
awesome.
Goat Rings. Analytic Goat Rings. Here we go, man.
7 Goat Rings with analytics. Yeah, he said everyone look out.
7 Goat Rings 2.0.
I'm actually excited though because I think we'll get more of the former Goat Rings, which is just slaughtering people. None of this like iffy trades. Yeah.
He's tired of taking the heat on the trade show. He's ready. He's coming back.
I can't even right now, man.
This is like Creed 2, right? Like he was down. Ivan Drago beat the shit out of him, broke him. Now he's coming back, man. He's out of the hospital. He's ready to go. Rebounded.
All right, J-Dog's back. 12-team Superflex start 10 lineup. Send A-Rich, London, and Addison for Justin Herbert. Mike. This is hitting hard about. Wow. Talk to me, Mike. Where are you at? This is going to tell a lot about A-Rich for you, I think, in my opinion.
I like A-Rich, but there's a lot to
worry about.
Concerned, right?
Yeah. I knew you were going there. It's okay. I can tell me the truth, damn it.
Listen, what you've said about him this entire process and what Ray has talked about and a lot of smart people is Anthony Richardson, out of all these quarterbacks coming in, had the highest ceiling. Like if we look in a year or two, who's a guy that could potentially be pushing for QB1, QB2, QB3 in Dynasty overall? It's going to be Anthony Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the problem is, who's also a guy where we could be like, he comes out and he does some things like Justin Fields, but because his passing metrics are so bad or because he's looked bad at this, like even though I love Justin Fields and I want all the Justin Fields I can get, there's people out there like, you got to sell Justin Fields, get off him. This is last year. This is he could be done after this year, right? It could be over for him. So Anthony Richardson also has that in his range of outcomes, and he also has just not being very good at all in his range of outcomes. We don't know. I don't think that's the case. Justin Herbert's a known, proven commodity, but damn, this is a lot to pay for him. This is a lot, Adam. This isn't like you're sending a Rich and a first for Herbert. You're sending 2 firsts worth, 3 firsts worth, depending on how you value London. It's at least 2 firsts and some change, right? Can we at least agree on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think here. First of all, I put a couple comments up here, Mike. Cooper says we can argue with him now and synergize. Cooper, keep that same energy, all right, next Friday. And you spend all your time looking for a top 5 tight end. This merch is gold. That was a courtesy of Iowa. Michael, kid is a gift, He's got a gift. I would say this about this trade. There is serious upside in the A-Rich package. A-Rich, London are 2 of the guys I think, honestly, that makes this so hard is – like, we haven't seen anything really out of them that makes me say they are positional difference makers yet, but I can see it, right? It's like a projection that I feel good about. Addison's the part that kind of like, man, really makes it tough. If you told me it's A-Rich in London, I'll take Herbert all day long. Addison kind of is like, man, you're pushing at my heartstrings. I think
the knife a little bit.
Yeah, it's right? Really close here. I would say this: if you're ready to go and like you can afford to do this, the position of quarterback, if you think Justin Herbert is going to get back to the elite conversation in WoRP, if you think he's a top 5, top 6 like difference maker, this price is worth it. But if you're not sure about that, or you don't think that's going to happen, or if it does not happen, the opposite end here has a ton of upside, and all these pieces may be far, far and away players that are staples in your lineup for years to come.
Final ruling for me on the question, J-Dog, for me. If I already have another top 8 quarterback on my team, don't give a shit who it is if I got one. Or I will say top 9 because I'll throw Deshaun Watson in there. If I have one of those top 9 guys and this gets me a second one, I think I'd do it. I think the price is extremely high, but I'm willing to do it in a start 10 lineup league for that leverage piece, right? I'll figure out the rest of my team. If Justin Herbert's going to be the best quarterback on my roster, right? That's the only one, and my QB2 is God knows whoever. Nah, I'm good, man. Like, I don't think I was a real contender to begin with. Like, I might have been a fringe guy, but nah, I'm good. I'd pass. I'd keep the shots on the upside, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Mike actually hit it on the head. If it's a team that I think is ready to go, has enough depth to afford this, I will pay this. And if it gets me like 2, if Herbert's going to be my second quarterback and I have a Mahomes, a Herbert, and Allen, Burrow, something like that. Right. All right, go ahead. Let's go for the kill shot. But if it's not that situation, I feel a little nervous about this consolidation, man. Yeah. I'll say this, man. It's just close to the correct pieces enough to make me question if this is really the right move, if that makes sense. It's right on the edge of like I could totally see Herbert still be in the way, but man, it's right on the edge.
I don't like trading away elite quarterbacks very often, but if somebody were like, "Hey, what would you need to trade away your Justin Herbert?" I'd be like, "Man, well, you have to give me an Anthony Richardson. I probably need like a London." And then just to be a dick, I'll throw in like a Jordan Addison type. Like,
you know what?
That would be enough for me.
Let me give one last piece of context to that because we got a super chat here I got to get to. But to that question, I think the one thing I would do before I did this, because it's so close, is try to package up A-Rich to other quarterbacks. And do I have to send all of that first?
Oh yeah, go send that exact.
Go check
at
Mahomes and down and see if you can do that, because I would be a lot. If you tell me that's Mahomes, it's not even a question. Not even a question.
See ya. Good.
Test it real quick.
I like Herbert.
I'd even add
Herbert
some
like,
player else to Mahomes to get that done.
We saw this on the Savage Semester, the patron show, right, where I got a deal done for Justin Herbert, and I felt good about it with the cost of the deal, and then I find out the details where the Mahomes owner was like, yeah, I would have done that same trade for Mahomes. You could have had Mahomes from me, and I just go, fuck. Like, just what a kick in the balls. just dumping shit all over me after I felt good for 5 seconds.
I know. All right, super chat here. Let's get serious because we got to bounce here and get a couple trade shows done. But we'll get a couple questions in here.
No. All right, so this is a reminder that I'm a sack of shit and I need to get the draft startup series. No, 111 in a Superflex startup with third round reversal. Not bad at all, TK. Not bad at all. One of the things I will say. Okay. Do I prefer Mahomes? Yes. Allen.
And the other thing is lineup or best ball, because even in lineup I'm still cool, but in best ball it's way not a problem for me.
Do I prefer those guys? Yes. But what other thing that I prefer, and this is what I'll touch on when I stop being a sack of shit and get the rest of the series done, is the 111 in most leagues outside of probably like our shit patron leagues or like some of these crazy scorings with quarterback that pushes them up. The 111 is the 111, the 112, the 110, give or take, is one of the only spots where you're almost guaranteed to get 2 top 12 quarterbacks and not have to pay up a single spot at all. Now, say it is one of those leagues. Adam, it's a shit league where the first 10 picks are all quarterbacks, right? And I know if I pick at the 111, I'm going to get one of them, and then I'm not getting a second one on the way back. It's just not happening. The other beautiful thing is, though, if that were to happen, now I get to have a build that's completely different from everybody else, right? I'm going to start Jefferson, and I might come back with the Chase. And now I'm wide receiver heavy, and I have all the wide receiver talent, And then in the third round reversal, I got an early pick. I'm getting another top 5-ish wide receiver, right? All of a sudden I have this stranglehold on wide receivers. Or it does open you up if you want to be that guy who starts with like a Bijan Robinson and then another elite receiver, or however you want to do it, right? It opens you up to all kinds of different builds. So no, the 110, the 111, the 112, and third round reversal is not bad because that early third pick then does open you up to a lot of possibilities. Now, the 111, the 112, while you can still get by in non-third round reversal, it's just not as appealing. Like, it's definitely more of a kick in the balls when the guy gets Patrick Mahomes and he gets the 24th pick and he gets the 25th pick in a 12-team league, and you're like, this is almost unfair. This is stupid.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think you pretty much hit that on the head, man. You're not screwed. I would say that. I think there's also ways to play it. Like, we still talked about, Mike, and I don't like. You can end up moving your second and third or second and fourth, and if you can still get at 111, like maybe Fields falls through, and you could find a way to move up and get one of the top 5-6 quarterbacks, even from this position.
Herbert, Burrow to pair with your Justin Fields or your Deshaun Watson or whoever the hell it may be there at the 111.
Because of the third round reversal is the big thing, Mike. Why? Because 301 appeals a lot different sometimes to people that'll tier out of the top 5.
Basically,
give me a second and a third. That's almost a second pick. 2 seconds?
Right.
Yeah. Let me get out.
Yeah, man. Yep.
So let me answer the question that you asked. You are not screwed. You are not in the best position, but you're not screwed.
Let's just say, though, if you had the choice right now, Adam, 1, 2, 3, 4? And then where are you going in third round reversal? Like, I'm going 12, 11, 10.
I would say, actually, I would still stay in top 5 or 6 because it's in the middle still.
Okay.
I would say probably about 7 though. I'll go to the back.
Okay. I'm a little bit different, maybe just because I
think if I can secure
it.
Still like the top 5, man, is still like we're just talking about Herbert there.
Shit. I got 3 quarterbacks that I really want, and the rest can.
Well, that's also I guess also the big caveat too is lineup or best ball. If it's lineup start
it's
9,
it's a lineup league.
Lineup start 9, I'll take the top 5, 6 picks still. After that, I'll take the back ends.
Okay.
Best ball, outside of like probably the top 3, 4 picks, I'll take that back 11, 12, 10 happily and act like you guys screwed me, but I know you didn't. Happily take that other side. All right, let's get to one or two more questions here, Mike, and then we'll get out of here.
Sure.
Because we got a couple trade shows to do. Trying to bring you guys more stuff. Mike's going to get back into the, the startup series.
Yes. Damn it. I had to do it. Every week I'm reminded I'm a sack of shit.
Well, that's just not true. You got to get back to it. I got the 106 in a 12-team Dynasty rookie draft. I doubt A-Rich will drop me in that spot. So do I. I do need a quarterback since it's super flex. So looking at other position options. Who do you like at that spot? All right, Fantasy Football Ninja, I see that you're tapping in here in the last few minutes. Let me tell you this. Run this back, too. Go also check out the 4D Chess Dynasty Trade Show on Destination Devy Radio on Friday, because this is what everybody here, I think this is actually a great way to end it, Mike. I'm going to let this be the last question, because I think this wraps and puts a bow on everybody asking questions at the front of the show on the quarterback hoard. Why? Because this is what happens. Somebody needs a quarterback at 106 and is afraid they're not going to get one, right? Now all of a sudden you have to think about, what do I do? Do I trade up? I'll say this. When you need a quarterback at the 106, so what that tells me is you're in the middle. You didn't pick a direction probably that well. Your team is in the middle. Like, it's not good enough to win, and probably because of the quarterback situation, especially being a super flex. What you don't want to do, though, is secure a quarterback in the rookie draft, especially, let's say it's, move up to get CJ Stroud and lose a premium type piece when you need help to get to the top anyway, right? Like, that's what makes it so tough, and what makes the quarterback hoard so appealing is you can leverage quarterbacks to someone like this, like to yourself, Fantasy Football Ninja, where, all right, well, he's got Russ, I'll pay for Russ. I would say this. I'm not moving into anything other than probably like 102 to secure A-Rich for anything that's like significant at all. If I end up having to take a non-quarterback here, I'm not going to pay up for Bryce or CJ, man, if I'm being completely honest, in the rookie draft. Now, if we're going to talk about moving 106 and other things to get to a different quarterback level, like we were talking about earlier, fine, we can do that. But not for the rookies, man. Not for these rookies.
Yeah, I'd definitely be. Bijan's going to be gone. I would assume Anthony Richardson's going to be gone, but I've also said that, Adam, like, we've been in, I'm not even going to say like super like patron leagues, but there's been enough like random people in there where I don't know them personally. They're not patrons of ours, but we're in them together, where like I'm getting A-Rich at the 105. Like, it's not out of the question. I don't think it's going to happen. But definitely he'd be at the top of the list at the 106. I don't think it's going to happen for you. But then after that, it would be Stroud and Bryce Young. Like, those would be the next guys. But say those guys are gone. We know Bijan's already gone. Mm-hmm. Like, Gibbs is my next one. And then more than likely, the way it's going to do is like I'd say like you're going to be stuck with JSN. But there are some leagues, Adam, where like JSN goes 102, right? Not the leagues that we're in, but I've seen it, okay? There's a possibility, all right? So, I don't know. Having a pick in the top 6 is not the worst thing in the world. Like, it's actually
because
very good. Now, if you told me you're at the 107, I'd be like,
100%.
100%. Think about you. But, like, to get one of those 6 guys, Gibbs, JSN, the 3 quarterbacks, Bijan, it's not the worst thing.
100%. Because it's the top 6, and I know what that value retention is in this format, I'm good. I'm good. I'll hold on to it and try to figure out and piece to get a quarterback later. You can probably go get Koopa's guy, Gino, somewhere. Something like that.
Like if it were, I'm not gonna. I don't know if I'm doing it for Bryce or CJ Stroud. Like,
for A-Rich, I'll do it.
I could maybe see it. I'm just saying, like, if he's got the 106, maybe he's got the 206, right? Somebody goes like, give me your 106 and your 206, you can move up to 4.
That's why I said anything significant. If I'm going to lose my 206 in the process, fine. Like a second round pick in the process,
so we've
fine.
established that the 206
but it's got to be
right? I get you.
To get a quarterback, a second round pick is fine. I'll lose that to get a quarterback, right? Because it goes back to the Jordan Love discussion, Fantasy Football Ninja to check out. You get a quarterback in the quarterback discussion. That's a big difference than having a wide receiver or a running back, unless it's a Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CD Lamb level asset. So, all right, Corey wanted to make sure this wasn't the last question we got. So I got a super chat. I got to get to his. He's also saying this is shout out to Mello. So I don't know if this is a trade that he made with Melo or if he's super chatting for Melo. I don't know what's happening. But it's a super flex start 12 best ball. Would you rather have Tua and Tyreek Hill or Fields and Terry?
Tua and Tyreek Hill. Not necessarily close either.
Not close. I want Fields over Tua in a vacuum for sure, but I think the difference of Hill and Terry makes it for me.
Massive. I like all 4 players in the deal. All of them.
In best ball, I roster all these guys and a lot of
every single one of them. I got a lot of them.
Plenty.
But I believe more in Tua. I've seen him be elite. One side gets the actual stack, which lineup, best ball, whatever.
That's another thing.
Format.
The stack does matter a little bit. It's a edge.
Yes. Tua Hill. Tyreek Hill or Terry McLaurin. I like Terry McLaurin, but I don't think we talked about it a little bit earlier. Wide receivers with good quarterback play, wide receivers with bad quarterbacks. Not saying Terry can't be good. I'm just saying I don't know if Sam Howell or Jacoby Brissett are necessarily the answer for elite WoRP difference makers at the wide receiver position. So this one's pretty easily. I'll take Tua and Hill for me.
1,000%, man. Tua and Hill is the answer to the question. Melo, I'm not actually shocked that somehow you're on. I'm assuming one on the other end of this deal. We've seen some good trades of yours on the trade show recently, but we've also seen the gaping that tends to happen sometimes.
the chat too, like they must be in a league together. Like they're talking.
I'm hoping this doesn't end up going into the shithead trade submission and Melo's on the other end. But Melo, I'll still love you to death, and I hope you make it to the expo, even though he can't come on camera anymore. He just wants to ghost us. But I want this Tua and Hill side easy, man.
You're being nice to Melo, too. It's also like Melo likes to talk shit in the Discord chat and then never follow through with what he says. Like, oh, yeah, I'd buy Travis Etienne for that. You send him all the deals in like 7 different leagues. That same thing. He goes, nah, rejected.
Real quick on that point, we have so many people. Savage tier is sold out. I got people yelling at me about getting team reviews done. Like another thing we got to get going on. The website's up and running, so we have some time to put more towards team reviews. But I give Melo one of the team reviews, and all he's doing is yelling at me, telling me no, fighting me. And I see why, damn it. Melo, I love you. But everybody, we appreciate all the super chats. We appreciate everyone tapping in, as always, on Tuesday, South Harmon AMA. We love you guys. I hope you guys are making sure. We didn't actually get to a lot of the thumbnail here, but the process really is making sure that your team, you're grinding and making sure in best ball you're turning out the bottom of your roster. You're doing the things that you need to right now, if it's a dead period, to position yourself better for success come start of the year for the next month or two. So with all that said, appreciate everyone's happening. We'll see you back here same time, same place next week for the South Harmon AMA. We're out of this thing. Peace.